Welcome to another FreeCAD video. Today we're going to learn how to create 3D models from pictures. So in my case, I want to make a keychain that is a radioactive symbol. So I'm going to go to Google, find radioactive photo, and download that. And once I have it downloaded, I'm going to open up FreeCAD and I'm going to open up a new file. So we're going to create a new file and we're going to go to File and then Import the picture that we just downloaded. Now, for some reason, my screen here is not showing the importing function, but I imported the picture and I'm gonna look at it from the top. Now, this picture that is also a template for our model is a little bit big. So if you look at the actual dimensions, it's 260 by 260 millimeters. So that's 26 centimeters. That'll be a huge keychain. So you can change that to 50 by 50, which is 5 by 5, which is a good size. But what I want to do is a little differently. I want to use the calibrate function here on the bottom. So there is a click on the calibrate button, and you can zoom in on a picture and you can select exactly where you want FreeCAD to add dimensions to your pictures that are set dimensions, meaning this is going to be 50 millimeters. So I clicked and dragged and set the bottom point, type in 50 millimeters, hit enter, and now your picture is 50 millimeters. So you can go ahead and close that while the picture, the center is 50 millimeters. You close this, and now, as with anything else, we're going to create a new body and we're going to create a new sketch. So I turn on the grid here for a second just to look at the origin where we're at. So it's positioned on the picture is positioned on the XY plane, which is the top view, which is my favorite to draw on. It's the easiest, I think. So now we're going to hit sketch and we're going to again select the XYZ plane for sketching. We're going to select next the circle tool. So sketch the circle tool and centering the tool right in the origin. We'll lock it in at the origin and we're going to drag it out and we're going to give a dimension of 50 once it's finished here. And once it's done, you can hit close. And of course, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pet this. And as you can see, once you pet this, the picture behind hides. 10 millimeters is a little bit big, so I switched over to 5 millimeters. And I'm going to take a look at it and see what that looks like from a side perspective, just kind of to have a visual on it. So it looks a little bit big, so we're going to need to adjust this. So click pad, and then under length, the first length, you can go ahead and change that thickness. And I'm going to make my thickness approximately 3 millimeters or 3 millimeters. You can either type in or you can scroll down, and as you can see now, the length or the depth, the thickness is a little bit better looking than 5. So we can go ahead and proceed to the next step here. When we created the pad, you notice that the picture actually disappeared. So one way to look at the picture is to change the perspective, change the view to wireframe. And you can do that by clicking up here again. For some reason, it's not recording, but when you enable wireframe, you can see actually the picture behind because all it's showing is the outside of the circle parameter. So now we're going to draw additional features here. We're going to draw that half arch that is apparent in the radioactive symbol. So again, we're going to want to make sure we draw on a correct plane. And one of the things you need to make sure is that you're on an actual active body here and active face. Because when you saw it at first, when I clicked on the active body, it selected all the faces. You just want to select the top face. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to select we're going to click on sketch. While we have that, we're going to select the multi-line tool. That allows us to actually draw straight lines, draw curves, all kinds of lines. So select your point on top, click, drag, select your second point, click. And here you're going to click the M button on the keyboard several times until you hit an arch, like so. And once you position the arch the way you like it, click again. and you're going to go back to the line menu. Now, this is not a straight line, as you can see. So you got to click a few times here to get again to the straight line. And once you get it to the line that is perfectly lining up with this edge, click um, click on a point, and again, click M several times to select the arch again. Complete your drawing, and then right click twice to turn off the tool. Close your sketch, and the sketch is there. Now you can't see it. Turn off the uh, picture, and now you can see your sketch. Make sure it's selected. And now we're going to click the pocket tool. The pocket tool just created a hole that is 5 millimeters deep, and it's hard to see because you have the wireframe turned on. So turn off the wireframe to face view, and here you go. So make sure you have your last action selected, and now we're going to create the other two cutouts, and we do so with using the circular tool here. So click on the circular tool, and you see immediately you have two cutouts now instead of one. And upping that to 3, we have 3, and which is exactly what the radioactive symbol looks like. Now, we can turn on the picture behind there just to see if we're matching up correctly. I don't see any yellow. I see all black, which means our regions are drawn and cut out correctly. Now, we're going to be switching back and forth between the wire view and the phase view quite a bit when we are dealing with pictures, because sometimes you end up drawing your regions, your cutouts on the picture rather than on your actual model. So it's important that you kind of work around, turn on certain features, turn them off to make sure that you are drawing your sketches on the correct body and not the actual picture. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm kind of turning this around to make sure that I have, number one, selected the active body, and number two, that I want the correct face. So since I have clicked the circular tool because that's what I'm going to draw a circle. And again, turning on wireframe allows me to see through. And just like before, from the center, I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to kind of approximate to where it's supposed to meet the image. And I think 9 millimeters or so is good. So I'm going to type that in. Looks like it's matching perfectly. Close the sketch. And again, we're going to hit the pocket tool. As you can see in the wireframe view, it looks like it's floating, which is perfectly normal. Now, when you hit wireframe view, you can see now that the black came through for the center of the radioactive symbol, which means, and there's no yellow, which means we're right on target. So again, turning on off picture can kind of help you work your way around and see if you are on target. So I'll turn this a little bit and kind of make sure that everything looks, oops, I just flew off the screen, up, keeps flying. We're gonna, oh, sorry about that again. So now what we want to do is we want to create the little loop where the keychain is going to hook up to our keys. So that one is relatively easy to do. All you really have to do is create a couple circles, but make sure again that you have the correct face selected. It doesn't really matter which one is the top or bottom. I like to work on top, and so I'm going to go ahead and hit sketch, and we're going to do, we're going to create 2 circles here. One is going to be about 10 millimeters, and I'm going to move that up a little bit because we want to make sure we have a nice hole. And then we're going to create one more using, again, the same area here, and this one is going to be maybe 6, 7. Let's see what we can see here. Let's see, that snapped. So let me use my measuring tool here. I'm going to measure that and make that a 6 millimeter diameter. Oops. And this one, I think I'm going to actually make that a little bit smaller here. So let's try again here. 6 millimeters for the inner one. And I think that the top one should be maybe 9 millimeters. Maybe 10 is too much. So I'm going to change that to 9 millimeters. And again, menu didn't show up for changing here for some reason. But you can change that. And now you don't necessarily need to constrain this because this is what's going to end up. You're not changing anything about it. Hit your pet tool, and now you've petted this. Now when you turn the figure to the side, you're going to see that the pet is, number one, too big. So we're going to limit that to 3 millimeters, just like the same as the size of the body. And now we need to reverse it because it's pointing in the wrong direction. And as you can see, that was it. And that has created a place to hook up your keys to your keychain, the little loop. So click OK. And now we're gonna take a look at it one more final time before we go ahead and export it as an STL file to the 3D printer. And I'm gonna try to show you this right here, but looks like my computer is still acting up. So let me switch over to a different camera. Okay, so as you can see, I have nothing selected. I'm trying to export and I'm gonna get a message that says you have to export a active body. So click on the body and then go ahead and click export, and you should be able to export now. So make sure you select an STL file format and go ahead and save your model. Mine's asking me to replace because I've already saved it one time. So, and there it is. Now it's time for the printer. So now I've imported that file into my Bamboo slicer. And right now I'm going to create slices. Slices created fairly fast here. It's a small file. And I'm going to send now the file to the 3D printer. And the files are downloading. So we're going to let it print now. And as you can see, the printer is pretty fast here. I think the total time it took to print this was probably no more than 15 minutes. Showing you guys a little cut through here. As the printer is going off, it's creating various layers here. And the print itself came out pretty well, pretty thick, pretty sturdy. Even though it's only 3 millimeters, PLA is pretty rough, pretty tough. You can see here about 56% done on layer 4. So it took half the time to print 4 layers, and the other, was it 15 layers was the other half the time. And here's the finished product. Let's go ahead and pull that off the hot plate. And there it is. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at it, see what it looks like when it's on the keys. And voila, I think came out beautiful and even shimmers. So see you for the next one. Bye.